Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Moved by the Music. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing an incredible guest, Miss Meli'sa Morgan. Truly, she's an R&B diva that has paved the way for so many other artists. She is known for her soulful and sultry voice that you can immediately feel deep down in your spirit the minute she begins to sing. She has so many beautiful songs, one famous one being her #1 chart-topping debut hit from 1985, Do Me Baby, which was a cover of Prince's original song. As expected, she did an amazing job with it and everything that came from her after that. Today we will discuss so many things, including her new album, Love Demands. Meli'sa Morgan, welcome to Moved by the Music.
Hello, Desirae. It's Meli'sa Morgan, and I'm so excited to be on Moved by the Music. Thanks for having me on. I know we're going to have a great time talking today.
Yes, I have so many questions for you, but for anybody who does not know, you're from the neighborhood of Corona in Queens, New York, and you got to start singing in church at the tender young age of 9. But I have a question for you, though. What sparked your interest in singing that early? Was it something you wanted to do, or was it something that you were kind of pushed into from your parents? How parents kind of like, oh, I want you to do this. Was it you or was it them?
It was a little bit of both, but it wasn't a push. It was a fun thing, really, because I don't know about you, but my mom and the women in my family, they dressed their butts off. And so they always had the fabulous shoes and the fabulous outfits and the dresses and stuff. And, they wore the wigs back then. And me and my sister, we would try to put on our mother's clothes and our mother's shoes and run around. And you know how a 9-year-old looks in grown woman's clothes.
Right,
it's
playing
funny.
dress up.
Yes, playing dress up. And so my mom, just one day, she put on the records. She put on like Aretha Franklin while we had that on. We started dancing and laughing and singing and stuff. And I started singing and my mom was like, you can sing, you know what I'm saying? So then it was like, let me see what you can really do. Go and study this song and then come back and I'll let you put my clothes on and get it, but do a performance. You and your sister work on a performance and then you come back and perform. And that's what we did. And she loved it. And then she told her sisters and aunts and uncles about it, and they would come over the house and watch us perform.
I was just going to ask you that. Did you have, like, your family members coming over and giving shows and everything?
And that was the thing. Come over, my mom's name Margie. Come over to Margie's house, and her daughters are going to perform for you.
That is awesome.
Yes,
wow.
and so we would perform. We perform early, and then, we had to go to bed because, then they got their drink on and everything like that. So then we were done. But at the beginning, we performed for them, and then they had their party. Or they get together. That's what they call it, the house get together.
And they knew that you guys would be performing for them.
Yes, and we dressed up in our mom's clothes and everything, and she let us, and it was just a fun time. I don't hear, kids talking about doing that anymore. They also, internet and video happy and watching that stuff, and they twerking and shaking their butts, at 3 or 4 years old, and they think it's cute. But we just had a whole nother thing. We was, dancing to James Brown and Aretha Franklin and the Temptations and all that stuff, and Gladys Knight and the Pimpers, and that's what I grew up on.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that because you're right. Kids don't typically do that anymore. You see a lot of, kids doing other things and they're involved with, the internet, electronics, and that old school, playing dress up and pretending and doing those things, singing in front of the mirror. I don't think we've gotten away from that a little bit. And the other thing, go ahead.
The innocence of it all, that's what I call it.
That's right, the innocence of everything. And, after that, I know you continued doing your singing in church and everything, and then you went to Juilliard School of Performing Arts, and you studied music theory. Tell us a little bit about that decision to do that.
Yes, well, after, went to school and did a lot of talent shows and things like that. Basically in elementary school, junior high school, and high school. And after that, I actually went and toured for a year in Canada because I graduated when I was 16. I graduated early. That's what a lot of people don't know. I was like 15 and a half, 16 when I graduated, which was really nice. And then I went to Canada and toured with a group that I was performing with called Business Before Pleasure for like a year. And with my parents' approval, because I had been working with them and they were old and they knew they would look out for me. But, you know, it didn't work out, and then I left. And when I came back, that's when I went to Juilliard's, you know, because I was working and doing sessions and stuff, and it's like I want more out of that. And so I went to Juilliard School of Music for about 3 years, and I actually left Juilliard to go sing background for Shaka Khan.
Yes, I want to get into that too, because you decided to. I mean, you were in a group called High Fashion. You guys did really well, but you wanted much more because you knew there was more for yourself. I mean, I could tell you're a creative person, so with that, you had that insight to know that there's more that you should be doing, and you found yourself singing for, you know, Whitney Houston and Shaka and Melba. And how did that all occur?
Well, what happened is that, you know, while in Juilliard, when I came back, I'm going to tell you a story. When I actually came back from Canada, the first gig that I had was Debbie Allen and her husband was looking for an artist to sign to their production label. And I met them and went in the studio with them. And the deal didn't work out, but, you know, me and Debbie, we've known each other and been friends, you know, ever since. But the deal didn't work out. But what happened is that they knew this one who knew that one. They said, oh, well, she's singing in the studio. She's great in the studio. You need to hire her. And so people started hiring me to sing background. I worked with like Jocelyn Brown on some songs, and this one and that one. And then I met Kashif. And Kashif was well, come and sing on this one and that song. And he was doing Evelyn Champagne Kid and all these wonderful people. And he says, I've got this artist, you know, Whitney Houston. I want you to sing on her CD. And so, you know, her new album, well, there were albums in, and I went and sang on her album. And
you were on her first album.
Yes. I sang, background, kind of like a lead thing on a song called Thinking About You. And so that's how that happened, is that I was actually like the go-to person to sing background on a lot of records. So
everybody wanted to hear that beautiful voice.
Yeah, so that's really how that happened. And then singing with him, then I went on sang with Shaka Khan on tour, and it was just like, it was a snowball effect, you know, like everybody just started recommending me for stuff. And
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then in New York there was a place called The Cellar that all the hot musicians that were doing studio sessions and was like the go-to musicians, we would form bands and perform at The Cellar on the weekend. So I performed with like people like Timmy Allen, all the hot musicians at the time, because we would form a band. Johnny Kemp, you know, I was actually in Johnny Kemp's band, and I was the female singer in Johnny Kemp's band. And then when Johnny left, I put, you know, my own band, and it was the Meli'sa Morgan band. And this was a way for all the musicians to play and make money on the weekends. And from Thursday to Sunday, we would play at The Cellar and do 2 shows a night.
That is so awesome. Wow. I mean, in the way that you're describing it and telling the story, it's like you remember it like it was yesterday. That's so cool.
Yeah. That was the time when musicians was honing their skills.
That's when real music was, you know, around. Everybody was doing their thing, and everybody was, you know, respectful of everybody else's craft.
Yes. It's wonderful things happened at The Cellar. The Isley Brothers came to see me. The Isley Brothers liked how I sang. They told Patti LaBelle about me. Then Patti LaBelle came and see me, and she got up on stage and sang a song. And that's how you started developing all these nice relationships with people.
Right.
And that's actually how I got the gig with Shaka Khan, is that Vesta Williams, who was singing with Shaka Khan, was getting ready to leave and go tour with the Commodores. And she came and heard me at The Cellar and said, girl, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm going to tell Shaka about you and tell them, well, you should take my place. And it was that kind of a community, musical community that everybody was recommending everybody. You know, if this one was leaving, oh, you should hire her to take my place. And it was really a wonderful, wonderful time in the music business.
That is awesome. It's just like a community of artists together doing you know, their thing to make things happen. Tell us about that moment. You know, I've read before, and I was really interested in this because you had a moment where you were opening for Gladys Knight, and Capitol Records kind of like cornered you. Were like, look, you know, Meli'sa, you need to go ahead and, you know, start your own your stuff, get your single out. How did you feel when the record company let you know and informed you that they were going to offer you one of Prince's original songs? And the title alone, Do Me Baby, how did you even feel about that title? Tell us about that.
Well, it was really funny because this happened after I came back from Canada, so I told you that story. And then I was actually performing with Kashif, and Kashif was with Arista. And so then Arista gave him all this money to go on tour, and his tour was opening up for Gladys Knight, and I was his lead singer. And we actually did Broadway, and we were, again, opening for Gladys Knight. And Hush Productions, who was run by Charles Huggins and Melba Moore, was managing Kashif.
Okay.
And they had just signed Freddie Jackson. So I'm going to tell you the story so you can get the whole thing. They had just signed Freddie Jackson, and his Rock Me Tonight was moving up the charts. They had signed Lilo Thomas, and they were managing Kashif. They hadn't signed Kashif, and they was looking for a female, besides Melba. Melba is older than me. She's wonderful, but I guess they were looking for a younger female at that time. And so they came to the show because they were actually Kashif's managers. And they had seen me on tour with him and knew about me, with shock and everything. And they just came up to me and said, okay, you done sang behind everybody else. You ready for your own record deal? And we was actually backstage. And they literally just asked me like that. And I was like, well, yeah, I don't know. And I think it was like one of the other singers, like, girl, you ready. You ready. I was like, well, I don't know. We'll see. And they said, well, come to the office on Monday. And so I went to the office. I said, okay, I'll come by and talk to you guys about that. But literally, I went to the office on Monday, and they signed me on the spot.
What a turnaround. Wow.
Yeah. And their production deal was with Capitol Records. Capitol Records had a president called Don Grierson, and Don Grierson had Do Me Baby on hold for 2 years. And so his thing was like, I don't care who it is, the next R&B artist that Capitol signed is going to do Me Baby. And I was an artist, and so that's how that happened.
And, nothing is, I don't believe in coincidences, and I think everything is done, for a divine purpose. So you were meant to have that song, meant to come into, the Capitol Records at that moment to get that, and it was meant for you. How did you feel about, the whole connotation around, the sexual energy around Do Me Baby? I mean, how did you feel about that when you first, heard the lyrics and everything? What were your thoughts?
The thing about it is that the first thing that I heard was the song. So my first thing is, can I sing the song? So I knew that I could sing the song. Right. And then it was like, okay, now these lyrics, I don't know, because basically, I mean, now you just can't even imagine anyone being afraid of any kind of lyrics for what's out there now. But, in that day at 18 years old, going on 19, I was like, I got to talk to my dad about this. I got to talk to my dad. So me and my dad actually sat down. We heard the song, and he just turned to me and he called me baby girl. And he was like, well, baby girl, can you sing the song? And I was like, well, yeah, I can sing the song. He said, well, then go in there and sing the hell out of it.
Oh my goodness,
and that's
awesome.
what he said. Yeah, and I was like, "You sure?" He was like, "Go in there. You're not going to embarrass me or anything like that. I know who you are. I raised you. Go in there and sing the hell out of it and show them what you're made of."
That is so awesome. And your father looked at it as from the point of view of entertainment. It's entertainment. You're going out there, you're singing. You're still my daughter. You're still the person you are. But this is a song. This is entertainment. That's your job, to go out there and entertain. It's a separate life. So I love that you shared that.
And it's so funny because, you look at, because he knew how he raised me. So he knew even if I sang that, I was going to come out on stage with no clothes on,
right.
and like they do now. I was going to come out, with pasties on my breast,
Right, right.
It was just a whole different era. He knew that even though I was singing that song and I was breaking, boundaries in the music industry for a woman singing that type of song, he knew how he raised me and that I still was going to have class and grace.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that I handled it that way, and that I'm not a part of the what's going on now with basically you might as well, if you sing something like that now, they'll come out basically naked.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's changed so much.
Yeah.
And I love that, you have the kind of relationship, with your father and your parents that you could actually go and talk and see what they even thought about it, because, that just goes to show that, you're, genuinely you wanted to, aim to please, but at the same time you didn't want to offend. And you did a knockout, outstanding job with that. And I'm so glad that you decided to take that. And you also developed a really great friendship with Prince. And can you tell us a little bit about what your first interaction was with him after, you found out that you were going to be singing, one of his, songs? What was your first interaction like with him?
Well, I didn't have an interaction with him until after it went number one and it was successful. And then the president, again, arranged for me to say hello to him backstage at a Lionel Richie concert.
And Prince was like, who is this wonderful, beautiful singing woman singing this song, singing the hell out of this song?
he was just really, he said, thank you for a great song. And I was like, no, thank you for a great song. You wrote it. He said, but you made it great. So that was, like I said, I always tell people that's something that sticks with me. And it was just a good time. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's still played today, and it's just one of those anthems, so that's awesome. You have some history, though, with a lot of different people. I mean, even Jay-Z, featuring, Mary Blige, sampled your Fool's Paradise and Can't Knock the Hustle, and then Mary even sampled your music on Good Woman Down, one of my favorite songs, and you wrote and actually sang background on that. How powerful was that?
Yeah, I didn't know that Mary really enjoyed my body of music. I met her like at the beginning of her career, and when she came out with her first album, and I met her at a club, and she was actually with the guy from Jodeci.
Yes.
She, when they told her that I was there, she just jumped up and hugged me, and I have that picture because she was so excited, and the picture is with me, and she has her eyes closed, and she's just talking and talking.
She was just ecstatic.
Yeah, and so it's really wonderful, and it's nice to be appreciated. And Jay-Z, he did it with her, and the producer at the time, Gotti. That was his name. Yeah, Gotti. He said, well, you need to do a remix, with the original too. And so they called me, and I went in, and that's how I met him and did the remix with Jay-Z, which was wonderful. He's just really a nice person, really, really tall. So they had two mics. I'll never forget, they had two mics in the studio because he wanted to do it live, and he wanted to do his rap live, but he wanted me to sing live at the same time. So they had my mic lower than his, and his was on top of my head, and we were just having a great time in the studio. And we actually went and did a video, and I really thank him because I love when those checks come in.
Cha-ching, cha-ching,
they
cha-ching.
Save the day. They save the day sometimes. You know what I mean? and that's a blessing. And Mary, too, she went in and she liked the song High Maintenance, and she did Good Woman Down and sampled that. And she told them, I want to use the original vocals with Meli'sa. And I saw her recently, and she does that song in her show. And it was wonderful, and when she got to the point, I was in the audience, she put me right in the first row, because I was her guest, and she was like, Meli'sa Morgan, thank you, so I love the love. I love the love and the appreciation of good music,
Yeah, good music is something that you always are going to remember, too. So you think about other artists who want to, take another artist and sample something from them. It goes to show that you have something great that's going to last, forever in the music industry, so that's good to know that people are actually, looking at you as a powerful force that you are.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
You're welcome. And, speaking of powerful music, you talked a little bit about Kashif, and you have so many soulful songs, but one in particular, Love Change, is beautiful, 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 powerful song, and that's how music, should sound like. I mean, powerful and and just sultry. So what do you think about all of these new artists coming out? Do you think music has somehow, in some way, not every way, do you think somehow it has lost some of its authenticity, just in general?
I'm going to tell you something that I saw the other day. They said there's really only 12 major notes in music. And It's what you do with it that makes it special and that makes it different. And it's how you intertwine all those notes together to make it work. And I think what's happening now in music is that they're not intertwining, they're just copying.
Yes.
And I hate to say that. They're just copying. There are some wonderful artists out there that's really trying to bring that back. Caesar and her, for example, they are trying to bring different feelings and different energies in music. Lettucey is trying to continue to do that. Jill Scott continues to try to do that. But there's a lot that the success is bigger than the love for the music. And they go after the success. I want to be as big as so and so. So if that's what they're doing, then that's what I want to do. And you don't have leaders anymore in as much as you have followers. And that, I think that's hurting music. You have a Justin Bieber that's a leader, but then you have a gazillion others that are following behind him because they want to be just like Justin Bieber.
Right. It's passionless. It's just let me do it just to be doing it type of thing.
Yeah. So I think that's what hurts the industry with the younger audience now, because they're not even trying to learn how to be musicians and learn how to, intertwine those 12 notes. They're just like, well, if he did that, give me what he got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'll sing over it, or I'll rap over it, and then I'll be a hit too, rather than trying to understand what you're rapping over and what you're singing over. See, that was the whole point of going to Juilliard for me, is that I wanted to understand what I was singing over and why my voice goes with this and why this note doesn't go with that. And I don't need anyone to give me, auto tunes in order to make me sing on pitch. You know what I'm saying?
You wanted to do all of that yourself. You wanted to learn about the inner workings of your voice, of the music, of the notes, how everything played in together.
Yes, and so that's missing. So when I hear, even the rappers that sing do auto tuning, and it's like, can't you take a lesson? Can't you take a voice lesson to understand your instrument, rather than, okay, I'm going to sing it off key and then you guys fix it and make it.
No, they're making it way too easy for these artists to get things done. And not only that, even with the sampling, some people, some kids nowadays growing up, they'll hear something and believe that it came from that artist when it really came from somebody else. Like they don't know the history,
Yeah, and the sad thing is that when you do that, there are a few that you remember, but there are some people that out there that release stuff, and we sit here 5 years later and we go, what was the name of the song that artist did? You can't even remember, because the music it came and went so fast that you basically have no memories to hold on to. And that's the thing with me, even with my new CD, Love Demands. People go, oh, this is different from you. And I said, no, it's really not different. It's just me now. But what happens is that you guys have so many memories on my old classic music that it's hard for you to let go.
Right,
it's hard for you to let go and say, okay, she's got something new, and let me get some memories on here, because the music now, it comes and goes so fast, you almost don't even want to experiment and try something new. You're like, let me just hold on to this good feeling that you made me have from before, because I don't want to lose that. And it's like, I've got good feelings for you now. You just gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta give me a chance. It's really hard. Especially for those old school classic R&B lovers. It's really hard because they don't want to let go of the memories.
They don't want to let go, because those songs are, they're nostalgic. They take you
Yes.
back to moments in your mind. And
Yes.
music is so powerful. You could hear a song. I mean, I was actually listening to something the other day from Jodeci, matter of fact. And it might have been Forever My Lady, because the first time I heard that song, I was in South Carolina, actually, in my cousin's car. Her mom was taking us to the mall. And I grew up on the West Coast, didn't listen to much radio. And, I was, in elementary school. I don't even remember what grade I was in. But I remember asking her, who is that? Like, I just heard their voice, like, who is that? And she's like, you don't know who this is? This is Jodeci. I was like, oh, I've never heard of them. From that moment on, because his voice, Casey and JoJo and I had a chance to do a great VIP event with them in Japan later on. I told them the same story.
You hold on to that memory.
Yeah, because, I mean, music is powerful. You hear something, and it can take you back 15 years, 20 years, and that time in your life. If you're dealing with something, or you're dealing with emotional issues or happy, you feel that again. Yes,
and I have that with my music. They do not want to let go. They just want that Meli'sa Morgan. It's like I'm the same Meli'sa Morgan, but I can't be the same person I was 20, 30 years ago.
That's right. That's right. You grow and you evolve.
Yeah. So it really, I've been baby stepping my audience through this. Come on, guys. I've got more stuff for you to get new memories on.
That's
Just
right.
give me a chance, you know?
You got to hold their hand a little bit along the way. So that brings me to this. What do you do? I mean, thinking about your performances, you're a great performer on stage. You have great stage presence and you're very comfortable. What do you do to prepare for a show? Do you happen to do anything special that helps you get focused, or how do you feel before you go on stage?
Well, the first thing I do is just try to make sure that I'm as comfortable and that I feel good with what I have on, how I look, and for whatever the event is, like if it's a Grammy event or something like that, that's a whole different thing. But if it's a performance, you just make sure, okay, these shoes are going to be good, that's going to be good. Make sure everything is good, and then you can concentrate on the inner, not concentrate on the inner and what kind of memories have I performed here before if I haven't. I've got a new audience that loves Meli'sa Morgan. There's people out there probably first time seeing me sometimes. And I just try to get into that and make sure that I give them the best that I can. I try to release all things that's going on with me as much as I can and not take that on stage because that can alter your performance. And when I get out there, it's just like you guys with the music takes me where I need to go. The
takes
music
you there.
Yeah, and the performance, because it's a gift, and when you start using the gift and letting the gift out, that's when the magic happens.
That's when the magic happens.
Yeah, it happens in the studio, and it happens when you're performing, when you're no longer holding it in and saying, I got it, because all we are is the vessel for the gift. It's no good if you don't express it and let it out. And when you're on stage, that's when I get a chance to let it out and be that butterfly and fly around that audience and let them feel it.
Yeah, I know, and it's amazing when you really think about life in terms of what you're doing and what you're passionate about. I was just talking about this the other day, as a writer, you have all these things that you may be great at doing, and it's those things that keep you up at night, those things that don't let you rest, that you should be doing, that it's one of those things that when you're in your zone, you're just there. There's no real preparation. There's no real, planning. You're there because that's where you're meant to be. That's what your gift is. And I like that you said that about, having a gift, because it goes to show that feeling, that energy you feel when you're out there, that's what you're supposed to be doing, in this lifetime, which is very important for people to understand. When you're passionate about something, that's what you think about. You wake up thinking about it. You go to bed thinking about it. You think about, how you're going to improve or anything you can do with your craft. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your new album, Love Demands. You have something really big planned October 20th in Atlanta. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, Love Demands was just wonderful. It was at a good time in my life. I had done a single in 2017 called So Good, and I was co-producer in Vegas, and I was co-producer of the video and everything, and it was wonderful. And I had been working with this other company, Cleopatra, doing Song Here Christmas album, or they did a compilation, Divas Christmas, and they asked me to do another song, and they liked how I worked, and they came back and said, you want to do a whole CD for us? And I was like, yeah. And so it was like a year in like 4 months working on this CD, making it happen. And they came up with a great idea of, because people love the way you do cover songs, let's make this 6 cover songs and 6 originals. And then we'll throw in, because I did like remakes of Do Me Baby and Fool's Paradise for them before, and they said, and we'll throw in those 2 as like session bonuses. And so we worked on it, and it's a beautiful album that really expresses and shows, like, again, who Meli'sa is now. And I needed that because you can hang on to the past, but so long before you say, okay, I have to grow. And
that's true. That is so true.
Yes, this CD is the growth of Meli'sa Morgan now. And it didn't even dawn on me that the last time I did a full CD was over 10 years ago. I didn't even know that until they, did the marketing for this and said, her new CD in over 10 years. Like, God, it's been that long.
You're just living your life and doing you, and 10 years went by.
Because I'm not going to do anything that's not right. If it's not right, I have such a legacy and a history that I can stand and live on that for the rest of my life.
That's
so
right.
I'm not going to do anything just to make money or you know what I'm saying, just because somebody says that I need to. I'm going to do it because it's right and it feels good.
That's because you're authentic. You're an authentic artist, So
and this felt good. They gave me co-production, so I was able to pick the original songs and co-produce them and go in and arrange them the way I want to. And I just think it's a good body of work for Meli'sa Morgan that's going to be around for a long time, and it's going to be appreciated.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
Oh, in Atlanta, yeah. So we've been doing, just CD release parties all over. I did Washington, D.C., and it was wonderful at the City Winery about a month ago, and it's just really great. So now we're doing Atlanta. We're doing October 20th in Atlanta. I'm doing Los Cobos, Mexico, November 1st through the 4th with Najee for the Life Lux Jazz Festival. And I'm also doing the Soul Train Cruise
in
January. So, yeah, it's just really, people don't know. They think when you release something that, like, you release it and, like, the next day, like, your whole world changes. And I just want to let people know that it doesn't work like that. A record could be out for a year before it actually hits, 6 months before it hits. So this is like my journey to get to the point of, okay, this is what's making this record work, and this is what makes everybody love it. So
understood. It's a process.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're very happy that right now we released the single called No More with video and everything like that, and it was edgy and stuff like that. But that's not what people is liking. They're liking the Aretha Franklin remake, Never Loved a Man.
See, you never know. It's like, people have their interests, and, music is just one of those things that it's going to touch people in ways that you can't always understand. It's just like you've heard a song, and I've heard songs all the time where I can hear them one time and like, oh, okay, that's a nice song. Then I hear it again. I'm like, okay. But like the third time before it starts growing, I'm like, wow, why didn't I listen to that at first? It's like, what in the world? Like, what was I thinking? Like, this is like a jam. Like, wow.
Yes. And that's what my fiance says. He says they're going to come back and they're going to love no more, when they're ready. Right now, they want to hear smooth R&B, and the closest thing, especially with, unfortunately, our queen, Aretha Franklin, passing away, they gravitate, and believe me, I did Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You. I did that like over a year and a half ago, and it's just coming out, and
Right.
they're gravitating to that, so you just never know what the audience is going to gravitate to and say, this is the one. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. So what are some of your words of wisdom for anyone who wants to start a music career, wants to get involved in entertainment? Is there some type of advice you would give somebody who is just starting out?
The advice that I would give is that it's a business. It's called music business, show business, and it is a career. So you don't go into market management. You don't go into fashion. You don't go into computer technology. You don't go into any kind of business without getting training.
Oh, yes. Research and training.
So do your research, get your training, hone your skills, do what you need to do, because there's all kind of people making money and losing money. You've got to learn your skills. You've got to learn your money management skills. You got to learn your talent skills. You've got to practice and do that, and then you have to learn how to survive in this music business.
That's right. That is so important that you said that. I mean, even when it comes to, like you said, Meli'sa, about, understanding the ins and outs of the business, and not only that, but knowing how to manage your money. Because so many people will get all this money given to them and never have they experienced, that influx of money, so they don't know what to do with it. They're just spending it left and right. When really what needs to happen is some type of training or some type of knowledge about how money works and how you need to put money away and save money and be able to invest money.
Yes, it's a career. and also you have to manage your emotions in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Every audience, when you're number one, you're at the top of the game. But when you come back out, look at what just happened. And she is the best artist in the world. And we just heard it's on the internet. It's not me. We just heard on the internet that Mariah Carey released the record, and in 3 days, sold 0 copies.
Wow. And see, imagine that.
Can you imagine? Right. And we have seen people kill themselves because they're not as hot as they used to be. And, you know what I'm saying? And they're constantly trying to get back to number one, and if they can't get it, they go into depression. You have to micromanage all of that.
Yes,
this industry is not just we at the top and we walk in the red carpet. Some days I walk the red carpet, and then some days I don't get invited to the red carpet. I have to manage both of those things and make it be okay.
You have to not be able to take those kind of things personal, even though people do that, because you see it all the time. People, are, in deep depressions and different things because they feel like, I'm going to say they feel like, not that it's actually happening, but they feel like they've lost some
all
edge.
the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just, and I'm not mentioning these people because I'm trying to talk about them. I'm not. I'm talking about them because they're inspiration. There was just a thing on Instagram with Kelly Rowland of Destiny's Child talking about depression.
Yeah. It's
how
there.
to deal
it's
with
everywhere.
Depression. It is there. And you wouldn't think, well, what does he have to be depressed about? I'm sorry, not Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams. Not Kelly Rowland, Michelle Williams.
Yes, like Michelle Williams. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because you never know, and in the day that we're living in a day and age, Meli'sa, where social media is everywhere. The internet's not going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And with so many people who post information about, their careers or their life, we are living from, I guess, an expectation that people are paying attention, and it's not always that way. There's a life outside of the internet. There's a life outside of entertainment. People go home at the end of the day. They have their own life to live. They have their own, demons to deal with, and we don't always know those things until they surface, and then we hear it on the news.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I try to, and the other advice I would give anyone is balance your life with your family, with your loved ones, don't let it consume you. because it's going to take it takes work. And work and building something, it takes up a lot of energy and a lot of time. But myself, I have New York. When I come to New York, I'm in total work mode. But then I go down south to my house down south, and and I relax a little bit and plant my flowers and look at my lemon tree and and walk downtown, because you can walk downtown there and park. I don't have to worry about parking in a lot like in New York.
Right.
I have a place in Aruba.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yes. I go to Aruba, and every birthday I go there for anywhere from a month to 1 week or as long as I can stay, and I just get one with the universe there, I love the beach and water. And we take trips from time to time to get away from this, Miami, Myrtle Beach, or wherever we can go. If I'm performing somewhere, I'm like, well, let's stay a couple of extra days and turn it into a little mini vacation.
Yeah.
Because you need to escape from just this industry. This industry is ruthless. And let me tell you about that internet, because you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks that they have their own TV show on the internet. Everybody thinks that everybody is tuned in, and this is my television show. My life is my television show, and I'm famous.
Yeah.
And we have to be careful of that. And that's what Facebook and Instagram and stuff does to us,
Yes.
It makes us feel like, we're famous too, and they're pulling people from the more a friend you have, and the more streaming and the more likes you get. They're pulling people from the internet, making them stars, and they don't have a clue about what to do. I'm just amazed. So, and then some of them, it doesn't work for them, and they're trying. Who's the girl that was getting likes on Instagram and getting sponsors, and then when they stopped, she killed herself.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It just actually reminds me of this episode. Yeah. I'm just going to plug in. There's a series that I love called Black Mirror, and they have an episode about this, about social media, where everybody, no matter where they were like keyed into their phone. I mean, they had to get into their apartment, they had to key into their phone, they had to do something at a restaurant. It was amazing, but it was it was ironic. It was like mocking. It was a mockery of our society right now, because like you were saying, you have to take a break. You take, your trip to South Carolina, you go to Aruba, because you understand the importance of giving back to yourself and reconnecting with yourself, which a lot of times people just go through everything. They're just so monotonous with their life that they forget to give back to themselves.
Yes, we went to Atlanta, and we just saw people walking down the streets with their phones. In the restaurant, we saw the girls taking the pictures, the selfies all by the bar, take a picture, blah, 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 let's go FaceTime. And we looked around and we said, my God, 80% of the people in this restaurant is on their phone.
Yeah, it's like
That's
that.
Crazy. So I'm really glad that I crochet, you know what I'm saying? I do other things. I love magazines. Read a magazine. Just, you know what I'm saying? Go buy a magazine and read a magazine, even if you don't like to read a whole full book. Read a magazine or something, Just get away from it for a minute, because really, it starts making you believe that you're something that you're not. Right.
And then the other thing is that, with social media and just electronics and everything's so loud. Not, I mean loud as in volume, but I mean just the world around us. Sometimes you have to tune everything out, and like you said, get back to just the normal everyday. Let me just read for a little while. Let me knit for a little while. Let me get away from all the noise of the world and so I can hear myself.
I don't even hear women. It used to be, let's go to a spa, spend the weekend in a spa, let's go do a bubble bath. You don't even hear when we're talking about that. You just
now,
don't.
I'm not going to vouch for everyone, because this one right here,
you know what I'm saying?
My spa time is.
Yes, you got to get the bubble bath on. I mean,
yes,
I make my bathroom down south. Like, when I go there, it took forever for me to put a shower in. I
Oh,
was like,
wow.
I don't even want a shower. And,
We just
then I
get
got a
used to what
fiance
we
and I'm like,
like.
okay. Yeah, I got a fiance. Like, okay, I got to get a shower. So now we have a shower. I was just like, when I go down there, all I want to do is just take bubble baths and just, just relax. But
be back to yourself.
Yeah, don't
and
get
I
consumed.
learned that. Don't get consumed, Don't get
Yeah.
consumed. And, I learned a lot of that, just even talking to you, it's bringing up memories from me. I lived in Japan for 7 years. And their way of life, is to relax and not rush. They take trips to their bathhouse every week. You see older people walking around.
I did that in Tokyo.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yes,
and it's,
I did
it's a
that
lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it's a
every time I go
lifestyle.
to Tokyo, I do that. Yes.
Yeah, and I just like that you talked about being able to have that ability to be able to recognize when you need a break and recognize when you need, that time for yourself. So I have one more important question. Matter of fact, it's the most important question, Meli'sa.
Okay.
And the question is, how are you moved by the music?
I am moved by the music. When music has good energy, that's when I'm moved.
Oh, yeah.
Because the energy of the music will take you where you need to go and take you some places that you haven't been able to go. And that's how I'm moved by the music, by the energy. It'll take you in a positive place, and sometimes when you're in a negative place, when you put on the music or you hear the music, it takes you to some place where you need to let that go and release that. So I'm moved by the energy of the music. That's what moves me.
Oh, I love that you said that, because energy is everything. It is everything.
Yeah.
So, Meli'sa Morgan, it has been a pleasure having you on today. You are so insightful, and I'm looking forward to working with you on some other things that we won't reveal just yet. But we're going to talk very, very soon. And like I said before, you're doing wonderful things, and it was a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you so much. It's continued success to you, and look forward to being on your television show, because you're going to get one.
Amen. Amen. I received that.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with the one and the only Miss Meli'sa Morgan. For more information, visit my YouTube channel at Desirae L. Benson.